Coming to you from the Spit Studios in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. This is the Spit Sports Show. Well, as I mentioned in the previous video, in the dog days of summer, news is hard to come by. So when some news arrives and I'm actually able to make a video, I jump on the opportunity. Keenan Allen signs with his former team, the team he spent 11 years with, the Los Angeles Chargers, for reportedly $8 million. Now, with NFL contracts, if you follow them closely enough, you'll know that the first amount of money that's reported is usually not even close to the actual amount of money that the player will receive because the NFL salary cap is a myth and not real. And there are a million different things that you can do to prorate bonuses and cut dates and before June 1st and blah, blah, blah. We don't have all of the details yet, but for right now, it's around $8 million. So I'm going to assume on a 1 year deal, it's a lot harder to prorate things, obviously. So I wonder how much of this is going to be guaranteed money. But $8 million, dollars, whether that's a guaranteed $4 million, $3 million, it's not a little amount of money. It's actually on the higher side for a veteran receiver like Keenan Allen. A comparable deal that I was able to find was Cooper Cup when he signed with the Seahawks this offseason. He got $26 million guaranteed, 17 million fully guaranteed, but obviously that's over 3 years. So the math comes to a little bit less or more depending on, again, the guarantees of Allen's deal when those get released. So they're similar deals. Allen's is a bit harder to prorate, but at this point, I think Cooper Cup is a better player than Keenan Allen is. They're both older possession receivers, but I still lean Cooper Cup. And B, I don't feel that this was the type of receiver the Chargers need in any capacity, considering they already have Lad McConkey there, who was A, their best receiver last year, and B, does basically the same stuff that Keenan Allen does. He just likes to do it from the slot rather than out wide like Allen usually does. He usually plays the Z. But what the Chargers need is an actual X receiver, like they had in Mike Williams a couple of years ago, or a Keon Coleman. That kind of archetype, a bigger play receiver that can extend the vertical passing game, so Justin Herbert isn't so restricted, kind of to the within 20 yards area. His yards per throw were down, and we know how well Justin Herbert can throw the ball downfield. All this does to me is reinforce the point that the Chargers are going to play basically the same way offensively that they were last year. Running the ball, keeping it consistently in third and short so you don't know whether they're running or passing, keeping the ball out of Herbert's hands, and trying to play great defense while wearing the other team down, which obviously has been a very successful recipe for Jim Harbaugh basically everywhere he's gone. So at this point, questioning his football motivations and philosophies is just kind of pointless because he's proven it over his career. But in the first year, I thought that his I don't want to say uneasiness, but tent his tentativeness to put the ball in Justin Herbert's hands, I thought had a lot less to do with Justin Herbert than it had to do with the fact that he was doing it out of necessity because of the fact that they don't have great weapons, and they sure as heck didn't last year. It was kind of Lad McConkey or bust, especially when J.K. Dobbins went down and that run game was no longer as efficient as it once was. So obviously Harbaugh has his own philosophy, and he chose to draft that way. Obviously, he picked the tackle Joe Alt over Marvin Harrison and different receivers, Malik Neighbors, in his first draft there. So he clearly prioritizes the offensive line over receivers, which makes it restricted in his ability to help design an offense. And when you add to that that Greg Roman has consistently been a run the ball first coach with the Ravens. He was the offensive coordinator there when they had that ridiculous streak of rushing for over 100 yards for something like 24 straight weeks, I want to say. All of it points to the fact that they're going to basically be taking the ball out of Herbert's hands as much as they can. And flatly, I don't like that one little bit. I think Herbert has unbelievable talent. And besides the fact that in big games, he is proven to be a subpar performer, to put it nicely. Clearly, if you let this kid off the leash, he's going to put up, I should say, great numbers like we saw in his rookie season, second season. We've seen it from the guy. And I think the Chargers know that too because they've been trying to address it. I just don't know how successful their attempts are going to be for this particular regular season. They spent a first round pick on Omarion Hampton, a running back. Omarion, don't matter. Which obviously isn't a pass catching weapon, but with Dobbins leaving, there's a big gaping hole in the backfield, and he should be able to come in and fill that. Young, fresh legs. I like that a lot. And then they went in the second round and spent a pick on a wide receiver in Trey Harris, which could be looked at as the guy who could pop in this offense this year with Allen and Ladd kind of taking that possession responsibility. But he has reportedly been having drop issues in camp, and he has fallen behind on the depth chart to a receiver that they picked in the fifth round, named Keandre Lambert Smith. And according to beat reporters, Brennan Rice, Jerry's son, is also having a pretty good camp and is comparable to Trey Harris. So when you put all of that into the blender, you kind of bring out that none of these guys are really proving themselves as standout playmakers in this offense. And obviously now with the signing of Keenan Allen, adding more depth to that receiver room, it can't be looked at as a huge bill of confidence from the coaching and management staff there in that receiver room. So with all of that said, how is this going to affect the Chargers this season? To be honest, I think all this does is once again reveal that this Chargers team is going to have very minuscule differences between last year and this year. I think this is going to be another year where we don't see the full potential of Justin Herbert, but we also see Justin Herbert in the most stable, consistent, organized environment that he's been in maybe his entire life. I don't know about Oregon while he was there. I'm not the expert, but definitely since he's been with the Chargers. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to put up great numbers, but I think he'll be efficient, well, at least until the playoffs. But I think the Chargers are going to be essentially the same team record wise, point differential wise that they were last year. Because if you look at their defensive side of the ball, it's hard to improve from number one in the NFL. It's hard for me to believe that they won't take a step back there, especially with Khalil Mack another year older. Their secondary is still pretty hit or miss. And I think that on the offensive side of the ball, they take a small step forward with Ladd going into his second year. I think Omarion Hampton is actually a great add for this offense. I think he brings a level of explosiveness that Dobbins was a good back, but I think this guy with his fresh legs and his explosive playability is going to be able to run really well behind this offensive line, which also is getting another year older with Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt as their two cornerstones of tackle. The middle of it is a little mid, to be totally honest with you, but I think another year of development in that offense with those young pieces is going to make for a bit of a step forward while their defense takes a bit of a step back. They obviously still play in one of the toughest divisions in football this year. Sidebar, I guess, but I think the Raiders are actually going to be really good. They obviously had, in my opinion, and I think indisputably the greatest, not the greatest, but the number one head coach quarterback upgrade across the NFL. I think Genty's going to be awesome there. And I think their defense obviously is putrid, but I think they're going to score some points. The Broncos, Sean Payton saying he's only coached, what was it, 6 teams in his career that he thinks is going to win the Super Bowl, and this is his seventh. I don't believe him. The Broncos obviously cannot win a Super Bowl this year. I'll say that with a period at the end of it. But they could absolutely win 9 to 11 games. And the Chiefs are the Chiefs. So when you look at it from that point of view, I really don't see the Chargers taking a massive step forward this year. But with the consistency of Harbaugh, the hopeful consistency of Herbert, a little bit of improvement on offense, and probably a bit of a step back on defense, I think they're going to be right on the fringe of the playoffs. And are they going to make the playoffs? You're going to have to wait for my full NFL predictions video, which will be coming out sometime in mid to late August, which I'm very, very excited about. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, what do you guys think this Keenan Allen signing means for the Chargers? Are you excited about it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think the Chargers are going to be good this year? Let me know in the comments below. I'm small enough as to where I can read all comments and love doing so, so drop some down there. Please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you really enjoyed it. The Spit Sports Show just hit over 400 subscribers. And as always, I will see you all in the next. Peace out. Love you guys.